French student. In this video, we are going to share a proven 4-step method to help you bypass translation entirely. Rewire your brain and start thinking directly in French so you can finally express your true personality with natural fluency. Allons-y, c'est parti.
Let's dive into this. So picture this. You're at a lovely little cafe in Paris, or maybe you're wandering the streets of Montreal. Someone comes up and asks you a simple question in French. You know the vocabulary, you studied the grammar, but instead of giving this smooth, confident reply, you just freeze. There's that long, agonizing, awkward mental pause. You start sweating a little bit, frantically searching for the English thought, translating it word for word, suddenly worrying about whether a table is masculine or feminine, and by the time you're actually ready to speak, the moment has completely passed. If this sounds familiar, listen, I want to completely validate your frustration. It happens to literally everyone, and it is entirely normal. That agonizing delay actually has a name. We call it the translation pause. From a neuroscience perspective, think about it like this. Your native language has spent decades building these massive, heavily trafficked neural highways in your brain. When you try to speak French by thinking in your native language first, you're basically forcing all this brand new vocabulary through an old, crowded traffic jam. To become truly fluent, you absolutely have to stop using that old road. Our goal today is to pave a brand new, high-speed, direct route in your brain that is exclusively reserved for French.
To build that new highway, we're going to follow a 4-step framework inspired by how babies naturally acquire language: perception, comprehension, decision-making, and language formulation. Let's take a look at how to apply this to your French.
Step 1. French perception, absorbing the sounds. Think back to that baby for a second. They spend months just passively absorbing sounds to build acoustic pathways, right? They don't fully understand what's being said yet. For you, the French learner, this means your very first job actually isn't to speak at all. It's to absolutely flood your ears with the language. Now, what's really interesting about this is that you shouldn't just listen to slow, perfectly enunciated textbook French. You need to copy different, diverse Francophone accents. Listen to a Parisian, then someone from Quebec, then maybe someone from Senegal. Play French podcasts or YouTube videos in the background while you're washing the dishes. And crucially, try playing them at 1.25x speed. I know that sounds crazy, but this slightly faster speed trains your brain to catch the fast-paced reality of how spoken French actually sounds. Work on differentiating similar sounds, too, like the subtle difference between U and U, which is a classic trap for learners. Change your phone and computer to French. Even try having a French video on while French music plays softly in the background. Basically, just inundate your brain to force those new acoustic pathways to open wide up.
Moving on to Step 2. Direct comprehension. Bypassing the dictionary. Once your brain is tuned into those French sounds, you have got to bypass the bilingual dictionary. Relying on mental translation is just clunky and slow. You think water, you translate it to French in your head, and then you finally say, oh. Instead, we want to mimic that natural development again. When a baby sees a glass of clear liquid and hears oh, they link the concept directly to the sound. There's no middle step, no English middleman required. This direct connection is what allows for instant, reflex-like comprehension. You have to start connecting French words to images, concepts, and feelings, rather than just mapping them to English words.
So, how do we actually pull this off? First, you need to strongly commit to learning new words in French only. Just ditch the bilingual dictionaries entirely. If you don't know a word, look it up in a French-to-French dictionary, like Le Rewire or Larousse. Yes, it's going to be incredibly hard at first, but when you're reading a French article and you hit an unknown word, don't panic and translate. Trust your judgment. Try to guess the meaning from the surrounding context. Read about diverse topics, science, history, pop culture, to build this massive, interconnected database of purely French vocabulary. And finally, talk to yourself. Seriously, describe your day, your emotions, and your thoughts in French as you go about your daily routine.
Okay, Step 3. Cultural decision-making. Responding like a Francophone.
Listen, claim it. You are an advanced learner now, and true fluency isn't just about having perfect grammar. You must communicate using Francophone social rules and emotions, not just translating your native cultural reactions. Think about it. How does a French person express disagreement? How do they structure an argument? How do they use filler words like bref or enfant? If you just translate your native cultural reactions using French vocabulary, you're going to sound, well, unnatural. You have to consciously decide to react using the social rules that native speakers use.
To train that cultural decision-making muscle, you need to practice. Try recording yourself having imaginary conversations, like complaining about a meal at a restaurant or meeting a brand new colleague. Develop your French personality, because fun fact, you actually might sound and act slightly differently when you're speaking French. Role-play difficult scenarios. And this brilliantly illustrates one of my absolute favorite techniques. Pick a controversial topic and argue both sides of it out loud, entirely in French. By forcing your brain to justify two completely opposing viewpoints using French reasoning patterns, you are completely locking in that new neural pathway.
Finally, step 4, language formulation, building complete thoughts. This is where your brain actively pulls together the vocabulary you've directly comprehended and the cultural decisions you've made to output beautifully structured sentences. Because you're no longer translating, you can finally navigate the complexities of French communication styles natively. Notice how French heavily relies on understanding context to switch between formal language using vous, informal language using tu, and street-level slang, particularly verlan, where syllables are literally reversed. If you're translating from English, which obviously doesn't have a tu-vous distinction, you're going to constantly stumble. But by directly observing native patterns, your brain will automatically formulate the correct register for, say, a business meeting versus a casual chat with friends at a bar, seamlessly switching gears.
To perfect this formulation, you need to practice complex patterns until they become totally automatic. Don't learn isolated words, learn natural word combinations and idioms in chunks. Practice switching rapidly between that formal vous and casual tu. And I want to challenge you right now with the time pressure technique. Give yourself exactly 60 seconds to organize an idea, state a problem, and give 3 reasons supporting your solution, all out loud in French. Forcing your brain to formulate ideas fast completely eliminates the time needed to pause and translate. It's literally sink or swim, and trust me, your brain will figure out how to swim.
So, the crucial point is this. If you commit to these 4 steps, perception, comprehension, decision-making, and formulation, you are no longer just memorizing a language. You are physically changing your brain. You're bypassing that slow, clunky translation trap, and you're paving a completely new, high-speed neural pathway that is exclusively designed for thinking directly in French. Now that you've built this beautiful, fast-paced French autoroute in your mind, it's time to actually drive on it. Self-study is absolutely critical, but a live French teacher is the ultimate catalyst to refine those direct cultural and linguistic connections in real time. A great teacher will challenge you, they'll push you out of your comfort zone, and they'll make sure you're using the language naturally. Don't let your brand new pathway sit empty. So, here's the provocative question you have to answer today. Which of these 4 steps are you going to implement in your French study routine tonight?
Drop your answer in the comments below and let's chat. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more strategic French tips. Merci d'avoir regardé la vidéo et à très bientôt.